Hello, fellow travelers! I'm Ari, a Dominican local, and John and I just came back from the Riu Republica Adults Only Resort in Punta Cana, and this is our review. Make sure you stick around till the end because we're going to share 3 tips to bring your stay at the Riu Republica to the next level. For the two of us, we paid $208 per night in a standard double room with balcony view overlooking the water park. The Riu Republica is located in Arenagorda, which is about 29 minutes away from the Punta Cana International Airport. This area consists of mainly resorts and hotels, so if you want to get out into town, you will need a car or a taxi. The Arenagorda area has, in our opinion, one of the most beautiful stretches of beach in Punta Cana. Some of the most famous hotels in Punta Cana, like the Hard Rock and the Royalton hotels, share this same beach. We visited the Riu Republica in August 2022, and this year has been record-breaking in the amounts of seaweed arriving at the Caribbean, but I don't know if we were lucky, but during our visit, the seaweed was minimal. Early in the morning, which is when you see the most seaweed because the hotels haven't had time to pick it up, it was really very clean. We did see some hotel staff cleaning the beach, so we can say they are doing a very good job of keeping the beach clean. We did find peculiar that there is a sand mound separating the hotel buildings from the beach, so some of the beach chairs and chaise lounges are on top of this sand mound, which can be a little tricky to get onto if you have any kind of physical limitations. The resort has 6 pools. 3 of them have pool bars and they play loud music, so if you want a more of a party vibe, one of these 3 pools will be your best choice. The smallest pool has a volleyball net, so it's basically dedicated to small groups that want to play a game or 2 of volleyball. The 2 bigger pools are more quiet, the biggest one being closest to the beach, and the other one closer to the water park, which is the one we preferred because it was the most quiet. Keep in mind the hotel is not very big, so all these pools are near each other and you can experience all of them during your stay. One thing the Riu Republica does a great job at is providing enough seating area and enough shade. There are tons of empty chaise lounges at every pool and tons of shade, which we find some other Punta Cana hotels do a very poor job at. This resort has a small but very nice looking spa. If you want to offset some of the weight you gain eating so much at an all-inclusive resort, it has a very well-equipped gym. There is also a ping pong table. I hope you're better than John playing ping pong. They also have 2 beach volleyball courses, and I hope you're better than me at playing volleyball, a beach soccer field, and the main attraction, the water park. Although the water park is not so big, it lives up to the expectation of an adults-only resort water park. The slides go from medium to extreme, and we really enjoyed our time there. When it comes to entertainment, the hotel staff was very active during the day, doing different activities and looking for players for the different games, and even doing water aerobics, also animating the areas around the pools with the music. So if you're looking for an active hotel with a more of a party vibe, I think the Riu Republica is the right fit for you. They also do a great job at nightlife entertainment. The night show was really great during our night there, and we were also there a couple of years back pre-pandemic, and the shows were also very good. So they have kept their standards high when it comes to night entertainment. There is an on-site disco called the Pasha Disco, which opens at 11 p.m., so about half an hour after the night show ends. The disco is not very big, but it has a great atmosphere. Many people go to the disco right from the beginning. We found the vibe and the music to be great right from the get-go. The bar is really quick, so if you want to order a drink, you don't have to wait a long time. One of our favorite things to do when we go to all-inclusive resorts in Punta Cana is to eat. And when it comes to food, the Riu Republica does a really good job. The food is on the good side, and considering the price you pay to stay at the Riu Republica, the food can be considered amazing. There are 2 buffet restaurants which are open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There is La Altagracia, which is the bigger one, and Mangu, a smaller one. Both buffets serve the same food. Something we notice is that they serve a lot of seafood, which is something you find only in the more upscale and more expensive hotels in Punta Cana. There is also a nice variety of a la carte restaurants. You have the Italian called Tarantella, the Asian one called Kaori. There is also an Indian restaurant called the Taj Mahal, a fusion restaurant called the Gourmet Culinarium East, a Spanish one called Olé, and also a steakhouse. Some, like the Italian and the Asian, had a very interesting concept which we hadn't seen before in other hotels. Instead of ordering the food to the waiter, it's a buffet-style specialty restaurant. So as soon as you go inside and grab a table, you can go to the buffet line and grab your food. We believe this food was made with more quality ingredients, and maybe there are other chefs that craft these menus because the food here was better than the buffet restaurants. For example, the pizza at the Italian restaurant was way superior to the pizza at the buffets. When we visited this hotel back in 2019, you did need a reservation for all the restaurants, but a great thing that they introduced now is that you don't need a reservation to any of the restaurants. There are many bars around the hotel, so whenever you want to drink, there's a bar nearby. Now, John and I are not huge drinkers, and even us noticed that the drinks are kind of watered down. They blend many of the drinks with ice, and you can't even taste the alcohol that much. This being a party hotel, I think they need to do a better job when it comes to the drinks. The staff at the Riu Republica was super friendly. We didn't encounter a single grumpy employee during our stay. Everyone from the check-in to the check-out was very friendly and always eager to help. The check-in and check-out process for us was very fast and smooth, but we did notice some long lines for check-in and check-out, and we also noticed that the lines didn't move as much. So, if you're unlucky enough to get in line after a group arrives at the hotel, you might be in line for a while. We also made a very nice couple from New York that had an issue during check-in. The hotel seems to have lost their payment information, and they were asking them for the credit card they used to book the hotel, which they didn't have, and so they spent a couple of hours sorting things out. One of the most famous features when it comes to entertainment are the Riu parties. The hotel organizes 2 huge parties a week, one on Mondays called the Jungle Party, and one on Friday called the Pink Party. These parties are not at the Riu Republica, but rather they transport any guest that wants to go to those parties from the Riu Republica to another Riu hotel nearby using buses. The line to get on the bus to go to the Pink Party was something crazy. We booked the cheapest double room. It was nice, but not great. On the positive side, the room was super clean, very well illuminated and distributed. The bed was comfortable. The air conditioning worked great. The balcony and the view from the balcony was super nice. The minibar was well stocked. A very nice addition was an alcohol dispenser with 4 bottles of vodka, gin, rum, and whiskey, which you could use to make your own drinks in your room. The bathroom area was also super nice. The negatives were not deal breakers, but they were something we noticed. For instance, the sofa in the sitting area is super worn down. They tried putting the cushions upside down, but the zippers gave it away. The TV signal is super poor because they use a coaxial cable connection instead of HDMI. The pillows on the bed were kind of small and they only provide 1 pillow per person. There is also a templated glass between the shower and the room, so unless you go with a romantic partner, be prepared to see the silhouette of the person taking a shower. There were also some minor details that make a difference. For instance, the soap placement was out of whack, the tissue box in the bathroom was also out of whack, the toilet paper roll seemed used from the previous guests, the hairdryer holder on the wall was askew, some of the towels had small stains and tears in them. They did feel clean, but they were something to notice, and the ironing board in the closet didn't have the cloth protector. But all in all, we felt comfortable in our room. Our score of the Riu Republica is an 8 out of 10. Now, as promised, here are 3 tips that will bring your stay at this hotel to the next level. You have free access to 2 features in the spa: the hot and cold therapy area, which is very nice, and the Turkish bath. So make sure to visit the spa and ask to enter these facilities. Tip number 2, if you're going to the Riu party, make sure you get in line early because the line to get on the buses is super long. And tip number 3, if you want to dine at one of the specialty restaurants that are a la carte, make sure you arrive as soon as they open, as they are harder to get into and people take longer once they are seated, so you might not get a table. Click here for a full tour of the Riu Republica facilities.